What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Cure, and we're returning for the final track on the 1983 singles compilation, Japanese Whispers. Thank you again to Phil. And it's the Lovecats. I've mentioned it a couple times already. This is one of the handful of Cure tunes I did know in advance of this deep dive, and one that I have positive memory associations with. I not only recall hearing it when I was a single-digit youth, though I don't think right when it came out. I would have been 3 or 4 years old, or I guess 3 years old, and I don't remember it from that very early era. But I think by the time I was 6, 7, or 8, I had definitely heard it, because I remember a few years after that, maybe early 90s, like pre-teen years for me, I remember seeing the music video for it and already being familiar with the song. So yes, it's definitely a tune that goes way back for me, though I don't think I've listened to it in a while, knowing that at some point once this deep dive began we were going to get to it. So I'm very looking forward to not only re-listening, but remembering or seeing how much of it comes back to me in the moment. What I do recall is that it has a jazzy feel to it, a notable piano line, maybe even a contrabass, a jazz-style bass. And ultimately, I think it has a bit of a synth-pop flavor mixed with that jazzy atmosphere. So that's my recollection. We'll see how accurate that is in fact. But yes, ultimately, this does seem to be very different from the previous couple albums, and in my recollection, I'm thinking, or I'm remembering, that this was my sense of The Cure when I got to this deep dive, that they make tunes like this and Close to Me, which, having now gone through the very early stuff, which had a raw post-punk feel to it, and then the dark, heavy synth rock of the previous couple albums, this definitely seems now like it was actually more anomalous by this point than I ever considered. Now, ultimately, my understanding is that in some ways they're moving more toward the sound which would then become their hallmark. So perhaps on a longer view, this is very much middle lane for The Cure, but by this point in '83, as I now understand it, this is very much shifted from what people may have come to expect from them by this point. So it's also been very interesting to get a sense of what Robert's understanding of the composition of the songs from this era were. Shout out to AK, who's been providing a lot of that supplementary information. So yes, let's listen to it. This is the Lovecats, a tune included on the 1983 compilation Japanese Whispers. It really does sound like a cat jumping on a piano right at the end. It's perfect. So I remembered most of that, though when it started, I still wasn't recalling the almost manic style vocal melody, the ba 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 da ba 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 da. I wasn't recalling that part, which is a notable part of the chorus. So that had not come back to me. I will say also, I remembered there was some breathy or even hissing style vocalizations. I didn't remember quite how much arrhythmic cat-like noises there were over the course of the tune, and especially in the last minute or two, it really gets a bit cacophonous and a bit wild. So lyrically, there are a bunch of lines that really sound like they're talking about cats, wandering around at night and, in the alleys and so on. But then there's some lines that sound like this is maybe a metaphor or figurative ways to express the dynamic between two people. So I feel like maybe it's functioning on multiple levels, and they are lovers like Lovecats who hiss and fight, but then kiss and groom each other, so to speak. So it feels like there's a bit of a playfulness and multi-leveled meaning to the lyrics as I caught them here. But yes, definitely a jazzy feel, definitely that big bass, which I don't know, it could just be like a normal guitar bass, but it certainly sounds functionally like a big contrabass, a big stand-up bass played in a sort of jazz improvisational style, and it's more of a feature of the tune than I was remembering. I remembered sort of that, double chord that is present at the opening, but I didn't remember the way it really becomes one of the main sonic elements by the time you get into the first verse, so that didn't come back to me either. Bottom line, it's a really fun tune. It's a quirky tune, it's a bit of a crazy tune, but I like the zaniness. And it's definitely one that, way back when I was a kid, caught my ear, and I was like, oh, that's really interesting. It's, different than the Depeche Mode that I've been listening to, and different from the Yazoo that I know. So it was, like, it seemed a bit out there, a bit wild. Now, as I've come to understand, it was perhaps a bit wild and out there, even by The Cure's own discography at this point. So I am getting a sense how Cure fans at the time would have maybe been, if not surprised, certainly intrigued as to the direction the Cure were going, which I get it is part of a larger story about what the label wanted and, the emotional condition of Robert Smith and just the nature of the band and so on. But yes, definitely a tune that is part of my narrow memory of who the Cure were. And indeed, I've talked about Close to Me, that's another one I knew. I remembered in recent times that Just Like Heaven, I believe it's called, that's a tune I know, and it came back to me because of that, what is it, tell me, tell me, tell me, or show me, show me, show me how you do that trick. Like, that line came back to me. It's like, oh, like that's the Cure too, isn't it? So that's another one that I'll look forward to getting to, but I recall that one in even less detail than I recall this or Close to Me. So that one is just a much more vague quasi-memory, whereas this one and Close to Me I remembered in a bit more detail. So either way, most of the Cure remaining in what will be a very long and enjoyable deep dive, which I hope most of you will be here, or I hope all of you will be here for the entire duration of, that is unknown. So even the greater part of what we've heard up to this point was a complete unknown, and pretty much everything save for 2 additional tracks going forward will be new to me. So bottom line, I'm loving the Cure journey. I'm glad there's people here for it. It is one of the deep dives that it seems more people watch and instantly comment on when I post videos, and I do always appreciate that. So let me know what you think of this, and I will see you next time. Peace.